So here's kind of the basic idea of rhythm. What we call the macro beat is just as opposed to the micro beat, the big beat. And that's the beat that if you were to move your body to music, that's where the macro beat lies, right? Now, a micro beat or subdivision is basically people say that if you can subdivide, then you have really good time. And what that means is if we just break down that definition there, we have a beat, and then if you were to divide that beat, you would have whatever you're dividing it by. If you're dividing it by 2, you have 2 equal parts, right? If you're dividing it by 3, you have 3 equal parts. And then the subdivision is when you divide the division, right? So it's basically two parts down from the beat, right? So we have the division of the beat and then the subdivision of the beat. And they say that if you can hear in your head the subdivision, that's where people with really good rhythm exist, in this world where they can hear the subdivision, not just the division of the beat and not just the beat. They can hear all 3 layers. And ideally, you want to be able to hear down to the layer of subdivision. And essentially, all music is broken down into the beat being divided into groups of 2 or 3, right? And that's where we kind of get into meter in terms of how it's written down. That's why you have all these different ways of writing music in different meters. You may have heard 4/4 time or 3/4 time. These are all different meters that are depending on how you divide the beat and subdivide the beat. So essentially what we would do in our class is we would tap our foot to the macro beat, and in the counting system that is usually a number. So it would be you know, in 4/4 time it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. We tap our foot to that beat. Let me put on a metronome here and we'll try this together. So what he would do with the metronome, which I may have to turn up a little bit. Can you hear that all right? Cool. What he would do with the metronome is that each day in class, remember this is 8 a.m., we had it twice a week, he would do a metronome speed that's either, you know, basically of all different speeds. So he would do really slow, which was challenging to make sure we can stretch that beat correctly. He would do it really quickly to make sure that we don't you know, speed up or slow down. And he would often notice with the entire class that the class tended to speed up on slow tempos, and they tended to fall behind on fast tempos. But anyway, let's work on this together. So start by what he would say, tapping your foot to the macro beat. So that's with the metronome. All right. If we were in 4/4 time, which is where we started, we would put a number to the macro beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple enough, right? The reason we use 4/4 time as we call it common time is because so much of our music is divided in this way and structured in this way. So we spend a lot of time on 4/4, but also in other times. So the next thing that we would do is we would tap our right hand along with the beat. Okay, so that would be, but we'd be going left, right, left, right, left. So now we have 2 things going on. We've got right, left, and we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is lining up with the beat, even though our foot is alternating. Yeah. The next thing we do is we add the division of the beat. So if you're to divide the beat into 2 parts, the second half of the beat's going to go in your left hand. We would do this on our lap, so let me see if I can adjust the camera a little bit. Okay. Oops. Lost the connection. Let's see if there we go. Okay. I'll just back up here. Okay. So the division, so we have this all going along with the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is going to be the division of the beat. So like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now we were sitting down when we were doing this, but you could do it either way, standing up or sitting down. So now we're kind of, you know, doing multiple things, right? We're tapping our foot to the macro beat, and our hands are essentially doing the division of the beat. And that would be labeled in the counting system as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, all right? So that's a good portion of music involves hearing the division of the beat, but the real challenge is hearing what's called the subdivision. So that's when we, if this is the beat, right, and dividing the beat into 2 equal parts sounds like this, then subdivision would be, right? So we divided the beat in half, and then we divided that beat in half, so we get 4. The way that we do that with our hands is that we're still moving to the beat like this, but we do the subdivision on our lap like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a... In the counting system, we just assign arbitrarily the letters E and A to the off syllables. Now you could think of it in any way. The counting system has gone back really far, but some people think of it as just any neutral syllable, like there's other systems that use like the another system that is taught is duta data, duta data, duta data, duta data. Or in some elementary schools they teach tiri tiri, tiri tiri, tiri tiri, tiri tiri. So it doesn't really matter necessarily what you use. I'm going to use the counting system because that's what we used in college. But the point is you're able to hear the subdivision, right? So we're going 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a... So the next thing that he would do, you know, first of all, he would acknowledge that when we do different speeds, the class tended to, you know, not keep perfect time. Because your ability to divide and subdivide that is, you know, especially if you go really slow, becomes a little bit more challenging. But another thing he would do after kind of that basic structure there is he would tell us to accent certain beats, right? So he said, this morning I want you to do, you know, 1E and a 2E and or whatever, and I want you to put an accent on just the and. So that would sound like this. You could try it. We would you know, in a full room you could hear it much louder, but it would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I'm making that part of the beat louder in my hand. I'm also speaking it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Theoretically, you should be able to do this on any portion of the beat if you have true mastery of the rhythm. So he would tell us to try it on the E. All right, let's try it on the E. 1 E. Let's see. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a E and a E and a E and a 4 E and a E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a E and a E and a E and a E and a, right? Much more challenging on that portion of the beat. Let's try the right? So 1E and Now the advantage of the counting system as opposed to a neutral syllable is that you can identify which portion of the beat you want to refer to, right? You could say maybe the last duh of or something, but that's the reason why people use the counting system, why I think it has some advantages. All right, so we're going to try the so 1E and You'll see this is pretty challenging. 1E and let's see. Ready to go. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and Right? So that's the general idea. He would also maybe tell us to accent certain beats like 2 and 4. So that would be like this. That's actually, the accenting the 2 and the 4 is the equivalent to like a rock or a funk beat. Oftentimes the emphasis is on 2 and 4. So that would be like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So that like that matches a rock beat like 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, right? That's kind of where we get that clap on the 2 and the 4, not the 1 and the 3 sort of thing from. So the opposite would feel like this: 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, yeah. So that covers basically 4/4. If you were to do 2/4, it just means there's two beats in a measure. So it wouldn't really change much. You would just go 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a, right? So 4/4 and 2/4, and even 3/4 would actually fall under that. You could do 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a. Same idea for 3/4. But essentially we have another, music grouped in 2s and 4s, and then we have another group of music that's grouped in 3s or 6s. So that would sound like this. If you're to divide the beat into 3 parts, then you would get, well, so we're tap our foot to the beat again, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We can count to anything depending on what time we're in, right? But if we were to divide that into 3 equal parts, then we would be in what's called a triple meter. So that would be like this. All right? So that would be, you can count it in a few ways. You could say 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly. That would be like a 12/8 time, which a lot of blues are 12/8. Right? Blues in 12/8. 6/8 as well, like Pop Goes the Weasel. And even waltzes sometimes are written in 3/4, but they're often felt. People say they're felt in 1 in a basically triple meter. So, for example, Sleeping Beauty Waltz. That's a little fast for that waltz, but sometimes when people say it has the feel in 1, they mean a waltz time feel in 1 means that sort of that beat that's divided into 3 parts, like when they're the small feet movements, right? But anyway, we have dividing into 3, which you could say 1 lolly, 2 lolly, or some people say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6/8. Sometimes they say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is where there's some division over what system you should use. Because if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of a sudden we've broken this rule of, well, we're supposed to step our foot on a number, right? And I think that is, I always taught 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I do think it can be confusing because if we have this idea that, well, we tap our foot to a number, that's how like the beat works, that's how the counting system works. I do think it can be helpful to keep that in play and say like 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly. For whatever reason they said lolly, I'm not really sure. I think it's because it's easy to say fast or something, but anyway, the least common, I think, but still exists in music would be a 6/8, a slow kind of 6/8 feel. So like a rock ballad. Think Dazed and Confused would fit this like a slow 6/8 by Led Zeppelin, Dazed and Confused. So that would be this. I'll slow it down a little bit. Oops. So we're still tapping our foot to the beat. And then we divide that beat into 3 equal parts. Subdivision of that would be this. This is where I think we learned it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. I'm trying to think if we did lolly on this. I'm not sure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. But this gives us the feel of those rock ballads, or even this is the feel of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. I heard there was a secret chord that David played, please the Lord. You don't really care for music, do in the 6/8 kind of feel as well. And you do the same thing there where you accent certain portions of the beat. So oftentimes in a rock ballad, you have the accent on the 4, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and that's this feel. That sort of feel.